Hey, I'm Michel Gelobter, and I run a company called Cooler. And our mission is to connect every consumer purchase to a solution for global warming. And it's actually the first time I've been in business since I was 9 years old. And I started the company after working on climate change legislation and policy since 1985, actually. And in 2006, saw that it was starting to move for real, and there were lots of people doing it, and decided to try to do something different, because the theory was that people in the US kind of change the world in two big ways. They vote and they shop. Or we vote and we shop, and to start to work on the shopping side a little bit. And when we think about day-to-day actions for climate change, it's actually incredibly diverse. 30% of a household's carbon footprint, 30% comes from the household's energy use in the house itself. 32% comes from transportation choices you make, how you get around, where you live, where you work from. Those of you here yesterday heard me say that people in 1900 spent about 1% of their income total on a combination of education and transportation, and today we spend 50%. Most of us work half the year just to pay for our transportation and our child care, and those of us with children, child care and transportation and education. And then the other 40% is stuff we buy, goods and services that we spend money on. And that includes services like lawyers or consultants or architects or movies, for that matter. Everything has a carbon footprint. And everything can be made with a lower carbon footprint in lots of interesting and creative ways, either by simply powering the factories or the systems that are making the services with solar energy or wind energy or geothermal renewable energy, or changing the materials themselves, making them last longer, and thinking about the disposal cycle, etc. So one of the challenges our company faces is trying to help people understand that everything you do involves global warming, pollution, or carbon dioxide. And there's a really amazing opportunity to connect that to commerce, because global warming, pollution, or greenhouse gases are one of the few things, actually it has really unique characteristics. It's the only thing we do that's not so cool, that's kind of bad, doesn't matter where you do it, it doesn't matter when you do it, and it's actually reversible through actions you can take, like doing things that are called offsets, or capturing gases, or reducing emissions, for about 15 to 20% of people who are willing to take action. You can't reverse everything that's happening on the planet, but the first 15 or 20% of people who get conscious can actually take steps to reverse it. And that's a very strange thing for something that we do that's not so cool, to be able to reverse it a little bit. And by using that and leveraging that into political work, thinking about creating consciousness on a broad scale across a broad number of goods and services about those that are contributing to solutions for global warming, our company is hoping to basically lead a sea change, the way the fair trade movement has sort of done so in the coffee field or forest certification. The difference is that carbon is in absolutely everything we do. So the goal is sort of 5 years from now that 2 or 3% of consumers will actually think that carbon or global warming, pollution, and something they buy is like prison labor from China or from Alabama, for that matter, and will repudiate products that aren't paying attention to their carbon footprint. And that's enough to drive alternative energy into global production systems around the world faster than any treaty systems ever will, because really the reason people are making stuff in those countries is to sell them to consumers in the West often. So that's kind of our strategy, and I urge you to go to our website, www.climatecooler.com. It will one day soon be cooler.com, but not quite yet. We already have a program in place with Intuit, which makes Quicken and QuickBooks, so that you can have automatic carbon footprinting for any small business in the United States attached to QuickBooks. 3.5 million small businesses can get their footprint automatically and then tell you, their customers, what their footprint is and what they do about it. It's a piece of software we released about 6 weeks ago. I would be remiss to end without talking about policy action. So, the other thing is, you're in Michigan. The Gang of 16, which is a set of senators that are blocking real action on climate change, are led by Debbie Stabenow, your local senator, and Carl Levin. And they seem to be stuck on the fact that they just lost the auto industry, and they don't quite get that they have to change something deeply so they don't lose the rest of their economy as well as the planet, potentially. So send that message loud and clear. And I have more to say about the footprint of government if there's any questions on that.